This is Arvin Vora, founder of Vora Method and author of How to Get into an Ivy League College. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 4 levels that we use to judge any piece of writing for college essays, whether it's a sentence, whether it's an essay, a paragraph, whatever. And I want you to start to use these as your own guidelines. If you can understand what these different things are, how to use them, how to avoid the bad ones, it's going to let you have a lot more control over your writing. So instead of it being something that maybe happens well or doesn't happen well, it's something that you have control over. The 2 things we want to consider when we're looking at any comment, any observation that you make within an essay is whether it's superficial or deep, and whether it is expected or unexpected. So if something is superficial, it's good to use for description as long as it's unexpected. If it's superficial and expected, don't use it at all. So here's an example. Superficial and expected would be the box was as heavy as a ton of bricks. That's a cliche. You've heard that phrase many, many times. So as heavy as a ton of bricks, we want to avoid things like that. Now, superficial, though, isn't inherently bad. When you're describing the surface of something, when you're describing the physical characteristics of something, then you're going to, by nature, have to be superficial. So that you can actually have something superficial be good as long as it's unexpected. So I want to introduce to you an author, Raymond Chandler. Raymond Chandler is the guy who pioneered that sort of like tough private eye that goes around solving murders and whatnot. And the most important thing to know about Raymond Chandler is writers love Raymond Chandler. People who are into writing, they just love reading his work. And there's nothing terribly deep in anything he writes. It's not like, Robert Pirsig's Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It's not even all wild and crazy like Infinite Jest. It's not, relentless and bizarre like Snow Crash. It's just regular detective stories, but the descriptions, they're unexpected. He was, in many ways, I would say, one of the real masters of things that are superficial and unexpected. Now, if you want to, you can go check out a bunch of Raymond Chandler books and get some practice and start reading them and get some practice with observing what is a superficial and unexpected saying. But we'll also just look at a couple right here. So these are just some quotes from Goodreads. This is from his famous book, The Big Sleep. The narrator is saying, "She lowered her lashes until they almost cuddled her cheeks and slowly raised them again, like a theater curtain. I was to get to know that trick. It was supposed to make me roll over on my back with all 4 paws in the air." So again, it's totally an unexpected description. Like this is not a bunch of cliches, but it's still superficial. It's just describing a thing. It's not like going into the deep underlying meaning of it. Here's another one from the character Philip Marlowe, who's the private eye in many of his books. "I'm an occasional drinker, the kind of guy who goes out for a beer and wakes up in Singapore with a full beard." So he's basically saying that he's an alcoholic, and he's saying it in a way that's, unexpected. "He looked about as inconspicuous as a tarantula on a slice of angel food cake." And again, it's a superficial description, but it's still unexpected, so it has value as a description. Does it have a value as a deep insight? No, not really. There's nothing terribly deeply insightful, but it is a clever description. So superficial and unexpected isn't bad. It's just use it for description. Don't use it for a major underlying theme or anything like that. Let's look at what deep and unexpected means. Something can be deep. It can be analytical, but unexpected. So here's a quote from Mark Twain: "I never let my schooling interfere with my education." It's an incredibly profound statement. It's so deep, and it really gets the heart of the difference between just attending school and, being in this environment versus a real education that's often self-driven, driven by curiosity and relentlessness. It's a profound idea, but it's been said and quoted and re-quoted and re-quoted, and it's been the title of articles, and it's already there. So you can't use it again and expect it to be and have it be unexpected. Now the question is, how do we get something deep and unexpected? Well, if you've read if you've read the book How to Get into an Ivy League College, you can look at some of the sample essays in there. You can look at some of the sample essays that are part of the curriculum to get some examples. But here's the thing: don't sort of model your deep and unexpected off of somebody else, not even off of mine. What you want to do is get into these deep ideas, Use analogical reasoning, use categorical reasoning, use reversals to come up with your own things that are deep and unexpected. Now, superficial and unexpected is usable. Deep and expected is not usable. So if something is expected, it has no use. It has no value at all. And deep and unexpected, that's going to have the highest value. That can set the entire theme of your essay, whether it is your personal statement or a why this college essay or any other part of this. One of the areas, by the way, in which something that's superficial and unexpected will be, where it's good to get practice with that, is for the very short answer questions. When somebody asks you, those like one word sent answers, or they will give you just 160 characters, which is the length of a tweet to answer something. That's where sometimes superficial and unexpected can be valuable. If you're really clever, you might be able to find a way to get deep and unexpected in there. But the key thing is for it to be unexpected, not expected. Remember that guiding principle in all of this. You have to ask yourself the question, is it conceivable that someone else has had this idea before? Someone else has used this description before. Someone else has put these two words together in this way before. If the answer is yes, don't do that. But if the answer is no, even if it's not deep, even if it's superficial, you can still use it to create clever descriptions and set the tone, letting the reader know that you are different, you are clever, and this is going to be worth reading.